Good morning. We're live. The next great Black migration has already started. We're going to talk about how I know that. We're going to talk about where we're going or have gone and how is it possible economically. And I hope we'll cover some objections to leaving the United States. And we'll also talk about who specifically is leaving, right? Who does this great Black migration include? That's what I'd like to talk about today. Welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter, creator of House Sitter School, and co-creator of Exodus Summit. Exodus Summit is a movement of 26,000 Black women who are planning their own exodus for themselves and their families. And on this channel, we talk about moving abroad. We talk about career breaks. We talk about bopping around the world as a nomad. We talk about those things while embracing ease. If you're interested, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button. If you're here, make sure you do that. I'll wait for you. I'm gonna wait for you. Thank you. Also turn on notifications, ring the notification bell. You'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with my friends. Hey friends, good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Erica. Good morning, Gail. Gail says, make sure you hit the like button, please. Good morning, Rico 41. Good morning, V-Lynn, virtuous CEO lady. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Angela. Hey, CY. Hey, Gina. Good morning, Erica and Tina. Hey, Double T. Tanya, the self-care maven. Good morning, Venice. Hi, everybody. Make sure that you're saying hello in the chat if you're here. Good morning, Michelle and Donna. Release your life. Good morning, Rashida. Make sure that you say hello if you're here. Okay, it's the rule. Okay, it's the rule. You have to do that. And if you're watching the replay, hello, friends in the future. I hope it's awesome there. Say hi in the comments. And then you can also hit the like button while you're watching the replay. Hi, friends. So Rashida and I got off the cruise ship in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Rashida and I are in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Rashida and I are going to the Exodus Summit meetup in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at 11:45 a.m. It's 10 a.m. So we got to get through this topic so I can get in the Uber and we can get to the Exodus Summit meetup in Fort Lauderdale that's happening this morning. If you're in the Exodus Summit community and you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, you can see the event. Now, our table is full. I think our table is full, but you could get yourself a reservation and come to the meetup is what I'm saying. And if you're not, let me give you all the link. If you're not in the Exodus Summit community and you're a Black woman interested in this conversation, go ahead and join the Exodus Summit community. We left Facebook. The good news is we're not on Facebook, okay? Now, because we're on a different platform that costs money, there is a $1 one-time fee to be in community with the Exodus Summit squad, to come to meetups, to plan your own meetups, to get the information, the knowledge, the wisdom, the support, the connection that Exodus Summit gives you. There is a $1 one-time fee, not $1 a month and not $1 a year, just one time, $1 to join us. And then you get your dollar's worth by coming to a meetup. Okay, that's how you get your dollar's worth. Make a friend. That's how you get your dollar's worth. Okay, so the Great Migration, we all know, happened in the 1900s, early to mid 1900s, where Black people moved from the rural South to cities in the South, to the North, to the West Coast. And we all understand, looking at those people during that time, we understand why they would move. We understand why Black people would say for economic opportunity, for safety and security, for a better life. We understand why Black people would say, I'm picking my family up, we're gonna pack up and we're moving. But for some reason, when we talk about us migrating from a place where we want from a place in the United States to a place where we can get better economic opportunity, more safety, a better life, people seem to not be down with that. I want to talk today mostly to those of you who already get it. But if you don't get it, I hope you'll stick around long enough for us to get to that point in my outline. Stick around long enough for us to talk to those of you who feel a real objection to Black people leaving. Pardon me. My mom's family left the St. Augustine, Florida area. I'm a Delawarean because they decided my grandparents were migrant workers, and they would go up and down, north, south to north, work in different seasons. Work this season, work that season, move further and further north, and then go back down to the south every year. And finally, they had enough children where they were like, we're tired of going up and down, up and down. We're staying in Delaware, right? That's how my mom's family came to be in Delaware. My dad's family was already there, had been there for a long, 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 long time. So I am a result of that great migration. My mom was born in the late 40s, right? I am a result of that great migration. And a lot of you, right? A lot of y'all's families, the two sides wouldn't have known each other if somebody didn't say, let's try to go someplace better. Let's try to go someplace where we can have a little more economic stability. Let's go someplace where we can have a little more safety. Let's get rid of this. Sharecropping is not the way. I don't think sharecropping is the future for us. Let's find another future for us. And picked up and moved. This is what's happening again now. Now, I'm not a statistician. I'm not a numbers person at all. I'm not a numbers person. I'm a feeling and a vibes person. But here's what I do know. Inside of the Exodus Summit community, which has had 26,000 women in our Facebook group, inside of that community, over the last 6 years, women in our community have gone from, this is interesting, or maybe this is a dream, maybe, to I've done it. Which tells me that we have reached some sort of numerical, statistical tipping point where statisticians in the future will measure the time. I think the time has already passed. We've already tipped into the next migration, right? We've already tipped into that next Black migration. Because for a while in the Exodus Summit community, even when we had 10,000 members, the majority weren't actively planning, right? The majority were interested, wanted to see what y'all were talking about, liked us. But the majority, I don't think, was not actively planning their exodus. Whereas now I think we're at a point in the Exodus Summit community where the majority are either actively planning it or have already left. I think 25% are already gone, 25% of our space. I know that our space is not, we can't use that number to say 25% of Black Americans have left, right? That's not how things work. But I think out of this not first wave, this is not a first wave, but out of this particular 2020s wave, I think we're at a place where statistically people will say this is the start. So earlier when I said the Great Migration, the Black migration was 1900s, it was decades long, right? The Great Migration was decades long. And it did go into the 50s, into the 1950s. This migration will also be long. I don't know that it'll be decades long because we have more. I think, I be talking. I'm talking about what I'm a house sitter, okay? But I think this migration won't need to be decades long because we have more financial resources to make it possible faster. If you're a sharecropper, right? How do you get the money to pack up your family to go somewhere? How do you communicate with family members who already live there for them to tell you that this auto plant is hiring or this whatever, right? This plant in Chicago or Wilmington, Delaware, or wherever it is hiring and I can get you a job. Communication that used to take months or weeks takes seconds now. Communication is faster and we have more money, right? We have more money. And also the places that we're going to. So let's talk about that also. I don't know if I put that in there. Wait, I did put where. The places that we're going to. We often are more financially fixed compared to the residents in the places we're going, right? So I can imagine moving to Wilmington, Delaware, or moving to Pittsburgh was more of an economic hardship or Chicago, leaving Mississippi and going to Chicago, leaving New Orleans and going to California was probably much more of an economic hardship, relatively speaking. Money is a relativity, relatively speaking, than picking up and going to Mexico City, going to Lisbon, going to Bogota. So I think what was decades in the previous migration will not be decades this time. Okay. All right. Black migration. So who's leaving? Who should be here for this conversation? Black people. Okay. Black people in the United States, particularly, but not only, because there's also a migration out of the UK. A lot of UK Black people are going to the Caribbean or going back to where their people came from. Or going other places. You can go where you want. It's your world. Go where you want. So who is this migration for? There is a misconception that, number one, this migration is for single or solo people. And number two, it's for people with a lot of money, maybe a lot of education and a lot of money. People with degrees, plural, people with retirement accounts, big, heavily funded retirement accounts. So first, I think what I want to express to you is you don't have to be in one of those groups for this to be a really helpful and important way that you improve your future. This migration, leaving the United States and going to another place, and we'll talk about some other places, does not have to be, it's not only for people in those categories. You can be a person with no degree. You can be a person with no real savings. You can be a person with debt. You can be a person with a big old family. We see big old families, and make this work for you and have it really, really benefit you in a way that you think is not possible today. In Exodus Summit 2025, which was our online conference that just happened earlier mid-October, in Exodus Summit, we had Black women speakers come in and tell you how they make their money that allows them to be wherever they want in the world. And they told you how to make money that way, right? Some of my personal all of the sessions are my favorites, but some of my sessions that really stand out to me were the teaching abroad sessions, because you don't need to be a teacher and you don't need to have a degree for teaching abroad to be the way that you make money for you or your family's exodus, right? Tax preparer session, because not only is a tax preparer a thing that you do online, but it's a thing you do for several weeks or a few months out of the year, and you can make enough money to live the rest of the year. Those are not things that require a degree, a big old retirement account, zero debt for you to make your exodus. So who's leaving? You name her. Who's leaving? You name her. Everyone's leaving. Anyone in the chat already gone. So right now there are 418 people in the chat. Most of us are Black women. Is anyone here already out of the United States? And is anyone going to be gone in the next few months? If we can do a quick roll call for that, that would be helpful. I live in Bogota, Colombia. My apartment is in Bogota. I'm in Fort Lauderdale because I just got off a cruise ship, but I live in Bogota, Colombia, right? So let me add my name into the roll call, okay? So you can see, hopefully you can see the chat. You can see if you're watching the replay, hopefully you can see that. Diamond going to Vietnam in December. Sharon is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Junket is gone. Brittany Turner leaves in May. User Texas Bebop. Texas Beep Boop, TXS Beep Boop. That's cute. I'm out, right? Von Powell left 6 months ago, living in Thailand. Oh, Tori says a poll would be nice to see. That would be a nice thing. In a future live stream, I'll set a poll up ahead of time. Crystal's bopping around the world. Create Something leaves in 2026. Rashida's already gone. Rashida lives in Mexico City. Okay, so who is this for? It's for you. If you're here on this video and you're watching, it's for you, Rashida and I went to the Exodus Summit meetup in Portugal. No, Rashida and I went to a meetup in Portugal, which was Exodus Summit and Blacksit Global. Exodus Summit is for Black women. Blacksit Global is for Black people. BLAXIT, Blacksit Global. Let me link to Krishan's YouTube channel here. We went to a joint meetup in Portugal. And a couple of the men were like, oh, I live here. Action VJ, are you here? Good morning. Or not good morning to you because you're in Portugal. Good afternoon. A couple of the men were like, actually, I live here because of you. So thanks for that. It's for you. If you're here, it's for you. You may have some special questions that you need answers to, things that you need to overcome. Overcome as in figure out. I prefer figure out. Let me say that. There may be some special circumstances that you need to figure out that I didn't have to figure out, right? But that doesn't mean this move abroad is not for you. It doesn't mean the Exodus is not for you, okay? The chat is still going. Thank you very much. The chat is still going, right? Penny, Canada in February, right? There are still women listing where they're going. Cree Girl has been in Mexico since August of 2025, August 31st, in Guadalajara, right? There's still, the roll call is still rolling. Okay. Roll call is still rolling of who's leaving and where. So that roll call is actually a good place for you to go back and look at where Black women have gone. There are communities around the world. So who's leaving? You. If you have a question, ask a question. We have 45 minutes left in this live stream. If you have a question, ask a question. But the answer is who is this Black migration including? You. It includes women with families. It includes solo women. It includes women in their 20s. It includes women in their 70s and 80s. It includes women with retirement money. It includes women with no money, very little money. I'll say very little money. It includes women who have their own business. It includes women who are employees. It includes women who are retired. It includes women with physical and mental disabilities. It includes women with hair and no hair. It includes women who have gotten rid of all of their hair. It includes women who take hours and hours to do their hair. It includes you, okay? Okay, I hope we can take that part off. I hope you can stop feeling like you're not included in this conversation. Thank you. Okay. So how do I know? I think I already did this one. How do I know that there is a Black migration happening? Like I said, I'll just be listening. I'll just be listening. And in the Exodus Summit community, I hear about it more and more. In the Exodus Summit community, I hear more and more of women who are gone. Which, we do take the credit for. Thank you very much. But more and more gone, as opposed to more and more lurking, listening, and learning. We hear more action and I'm gone. I live here now. I live there now. I'm bopping around this place now. The Exodus Summit community is 6 years old. We started in 2020. And the pace of people's pick up and go is sped up. And the pace has sped up. So I'm going to use that to say, as a non-statistician, I'm going to use that to say that it's happening. Thank you, friends, for the compliments. Thank you. We're already at a point where, when historians look back, that we've already crossed the date where they'll say the Black migration started during this time. I think the second Trump administration absolutely will be when we'll see the numbering, when the numbers will verify this thing. I think that November of 2024 is, I think, probably when we'll see that, when they'll start categorizing this time in history. That's what I think. Where are we going? Okay, so the places that the women already listed in the chat where they've gone are some of the places you might need to look into. Where are we going? We're going to Latin America. We're going to the Caribbean. We're going to Europe. We're going to Africa. We're going to Asia. We're going to the rest of the world. I would say not Australia. I don't know if I only know one Black woman who in the community who has spent significant time in Australia, and she was house sitting. Maybe two. Both were house sitting. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you can leave Australia off the list. I think Australians are just as racist as American white people. White Australians are just as racist as American white people. And it's probably not a place you're going to feel good in, even though they don't, their rules and their oppression is not aimed at you. It's going to feel real familiar. Okay. So at almost anywhere else. Because we're not moving through traditional jobs, we're moving mostly because most of the women in this community are not moving through traditional jobs. We're moving through, I'm a remote worker and I can be where I want, or I run my own business, or I'm a teacher and I teach abroad in another country. A lot of the world is open. A lot of the world is possible, right? There are some favorites. There are some favorites out here. Panama's a fave. Panama is a country that has been very clear about how you move there, because some countries are not super clear about their immigration process. Panama is really clear about how you move there, what you get when you move there, and how you stay in good standing. Panama is at the top of the list always in our community. Mexico is at the top of the list in our community. Portugal, always at the top of the list. Those are our big three. But also, like I said, just like a lot of British people are returning to the Caribbean, a lot of people in our community are also returning to the Caribbean or going to the Caribbean the first time, right? A lot of people want to be in Black spaces, Black and brown, or Black or brown spaces. And so that means the Caribbean is always high on the list. And there are parts of the Caribbean where you can live relatively affordably for the Caribbean, right? Some places in the Caribbean, exorbitantly priced, and it seems impossible. But there are places in the Caribbean where people go and don't, don't end up sleeping on the streets. So the where is very personal or subjective. It depends on what you need and what you like. I don't want to wear a coat. I don't want a winter coat. I want a life where I don't need a winter coat. Right? So that changes. Somebody who was it just said, I moved to Canada. I'm on my way to Canada. No, thanks. I love that for you. I hope Canada is everything you dreamed. Them lakes. Listen, them lakes in Canada. If I lived in Canada, I would be such an outdoor girly. I would, oh my gosh, my life. I would just be little Miss Adventure Time. Except that I would need a coat, right? But Canada looks, some parts of Canada, them lakes, they look so beautiful, just amazing. It's where you're going is personal for you and for your family, but there are the same questions that you can ask that will lead you to your answers, right? The same questions that that helped me decide on Bogota, Colombia. Those same questions will help you decide on a place that will be a good fit for you. And so I would start with this, which country should I move to quiz? ExodusSummit.com/quiz. The link is already in the description of this video, I'm pretty sure. There are just a handful of questions that will help direct your move abroad search. I want to say that I personally have not found a place where I'm like, there's no other place in the world. This is the one for me forever and ever. Right? I think instead it's like, I will like my life here. I will enjoy myself here. And I'm open to some other places. I think some people procrastinate in moving abroad by trying to find the perfect place. You don't need a perfect place. You need a place that fits your needs, where you're going to like it or love it. Love it. You can love it. Love it. A place that fits your needs and you'll love. But there can be many of those. I love Lisbon, Portugal. I didn't move to Lisbon, Portugal, but I love it. Love it. Love it. Every time I'm there, I'm like, this is my type of city. The outdoors of the buildings, like they tile the outside of their buildings. The buildings are so patterned and decorated. Tiling the outside of your building, that's for me. Tiling the steps In Mexico, you'll see a lot of stairways tile. That's for me. They do that only for me. I know other people appreciate it, but that's for me. There are places in the world where I go and I'm like, I really, 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 really love it here. Fiji, right? We loved Fiji. Now we live the resort life in Fiji, but we loved Fiji. I don't know that you need to keep looking and searching until you find the perfect place. I think you find a place that you'll really like and you go there. And then one day y'all might say, we visited this other place and we like it better, and now we're going to move to that place. It's your world. One of my life's philosophies, one of the philosophies of this YouTube channel is that Black women we gave birth to this entire world. It's our world. Nothing exists without Black women. And so we should move about the world as if it's our world. In a lot of places you go, you actually get treated like that. A lot of places you go, this community just spent some time in Vietnam in February. Best believe they treated us like it was our world. Okay? When I walk around Bogota, Colombia, sometimes some people treat it like it's our world. You don't have to pick one perfect place. Don't let that hold up your exodus. Find a place where you think you're going to really love it and go there. And then if you're like, now we did that, now I want to try this place, go try that place. So y'all, I may be talking funny. I just got that Maryland bridge done in Bogota and it's rattling around in here. I think I may have cracked something. If a tooth comes flying out of my mouth, know that my Maryland bridge has come undone. I'm having the worst. No, I'm not having the worst luck, but I'm not having the best dental luck. It depends on what you need and what you're into, but those are some places you can start. If you take the which country should I move to quiz, if you take that quiz at exodussummit.com/quiz and you don't like the answer, it's okay. The questions are more important than the answers. The questions are designed to make you think about what you need in a new home, in a new country, in a new city, and then you direct your search from there. Same issues. I feel like I'm being punished for not putting out that money and getting the implant and getting the bridge instead. Vaughn says she got a tooth pulled in Thailand, cost her $100 flat. So my Maryland bridge only cost me in Colombia, I don't remember what it cost me. It didn't cost me very much, but I feel like I've lost and I think I did the wrong thing and I pulled a little something out of place. I can hear it rattling around. I know you can't hear it rattling around, but in my mind, you can hear it on the microphone. Where are we going? Subjective. I listed the top 3, but those are just other people's opinions, other people's choices. I think we're going anywhere but Australia. I think we're going anywhere but Australia, and where could be nowhere. You can leave the United States without moving to any country officially and just bop around the world as a nomad. If your US passport allows you to stay in Mexico for 6 months, and then Colombia for 3 months, and then Thailand for 60 days, but then you can renew, and then Bali for 60 days, and then the European Union for 90 days, then you can live that life where you just go from place to place, you and your family go from place to place based on where you want to be, based on who's doing what right now, right? Thailand just had their Loy Krathong festival. It's one of the most beautiful things I've experienced. I went to it in Chiang Mai in 2015. And I just watched Adrienne on Instagram. I just watched her video about it on Instagram. I interviewed Adrienne on this channel a while ago. She's a flight attendant. And it reminded me how beautiful that experience was. I'm gonna link to Adrienne's Instagram and you can go watch it right now. Because you may want to put Chiang Mai, Thailand, late December, early November on your 2026 to-do list. I'm gonna link to her YouTube channel right here, Adrienne Danielle. You can click on it. You won't lose me if you click on this link. Bopping around. What I'm talking about, I'm talking about bopping around, right? Just picking a place and being there until it's time to leave. That is another valid way to leave the United States, and I did it for 10 years. I bopped around the world for 10 years, lived out of my suitcases, two check bags. I think I started off with a check bag, and then I moved to carry-on only for a little while, and then I'm back to check bag life. I bopped around the world, 2 check bags and my carry-on for 10 years. It's valid. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful way to see the world. You get to be in places for a long time and not have to feel rushed and hurried. So leaving the country doesn't always mean moving specifically to another country, okay? So we've talked about who can leave or who is this for? We've talked about how I know that there's a Black migration happening. We've talked about where to go. Ask me your questions, okay? Now let's talk about the money. Let's talk about how financially people who have already migrated, how financially they're affording it. There are some people who are just using their retirement money, whether that's Social Security or a pension or retirement savings or all of the above. There are people who are leaving the country and living on that money. I think that's probably one of the easiest answers I can give, right? We all understand that, right? So I'm gonna write that down, retirement. There are people who are getting a job in another country. I'm gonna throw this out there. Most of you this won't work for most people. If you already work in education or if you want to teach abroad, watch the Teach Abroad session at Exodus Summit 2025. Watch the replay of that Exodus Summit session. If you like children and you want to teach abroad, whether you're currently an educator or not, this is a valid pathway. If you work for a corporation that is international already, and they can move you to the place you want to live, go for it, okay? But for most of us, getting a job in another country is not going to work because they're going to pay us on that country's pay scale, and we don't like them numbers. We don't like them numbers. For most people, we move abroad by either working remotely, working for ourselves, starting a business. I'm a coach. I told you I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School. House sitting coaching is one of the ways that I make money to be wherever I want to be in the world. The Exodus Summit, the actual summit, is one of those ways, right? So coaching, starting your own online business, maybe starting your own in-person business in the US, but making enough money there for a few months to be able to live the rest of the year wherever you want, right? Some sort of seasonal work. Online, remote, entrepreneurship. Yeah, okay. Those are the big 3 in terms of how most of the women in our community make new money to travel abroad. And then the big 1 for those who don't need to make money is retirement money. There are plenty of parts in the world. If the average Social Security check is, I think it's $1,600 or $1,800 a month, lots of the world where you can live a nice life on US Social Security. If you join the Exodus Summit community, exodussummit.com/community, make a post and ask Black women, ask the women in our community, who here is living abroad only on their Social Security? And ask them where they are and how they're affording it, what year they got there, what year did they sign that lease, right? How old is your lease? Is rent still there? Is that rent price still accurate? That's a question that I would ask if I needed to know that I could do this on that money. And then I would watch some videos from the Exodus Summit YouTube channel and from my YouTube channel and make sure that you see other Black women who are using Social Security to move abroad. Make sure you see their videos. Let me link to the Exodus Summit YouTube channel. I would get in community with people and I would get information from people who are doing it that way. I don't see questions popping up in the chat unless I'm just not looking. You seem to be getting it. Okay. If you have questions, ask me your questions. We have 20 some more minutes before I got to go. So we've talked about who's leaving, how I know a migration is happening, where we're going. We talked about money. We talked about how financially people are doing it. Okay. I'd like to now talk about some objections you might have, some things that you might be thinking when you hear that Black people are leaving the country in large numbers. First objection generally is we built the United States and we should stay. Picture you saying that to a woman in an abusive relationship, in a marriage where she's experiencing abuse. What a terrible person you would have to be to want her to subject herself to that life continually just because she made a vow to that man, right? Or that person, that abuser. That is our relationship with the United States, except that we didn't even take a vow in this country. Most of us did not voluntarily come here and say, this is a country I'm going to come and live in and build up and whatever. Most of us, most people here on this channel today never stood up anywhere and took a vow to this country. We were bought and sold into this country. And saying that our people built it is a useless perspective in terms of deciding where we want to live. I did a Get Ready With Me live stream on Instagram just this morning, and it dawned on me. We allow people to move because of the weather all the time. All the time, you hear people say, girl, I got so tired of shoveling that snow in Detroit. I picked up and moved myself to Phoenix or whatever. And we like, yep. Child, them summers in Phoenix were too hot. I picked up and I moved myself to Portland, or wherever people go. We'd be like, yep. But child, every system I was operating under was designed specifically to punish me, to oppress me. The financial systems, the economic system, the justice system, all of it, the education system, all of it was designed specifically so that me and my children live worse, even if it negatively affected the people who created the systems to begin with. It was all designed to make sure that we had a worse life. And so I decided I was going to pick up and move us. We're like, how dare you? How dare you? Weather is more of a valid excuse than safety, than livelihood, than peace of mind. That doesn't make sense. I can say to you, listen, I got so sick of shoveling snow in Delaware. I used to shovel snow to get to work, and then I would have to shovel snow to get home from work. And I hated it. If I said I left the United States for that reason, I live in Bogota now because it doesn't snow in Bogota, people would be like, oh, smart. But when I say I picked up and left because they hate me, and I personally don't want to live around them, all of a sudden it's ridiculous. And I'm giving up some phantom thing that people expect is going to happen one day in the United States of America. The country is actively failing. The country is actively declining. And people still think there's going to be some mysterious money falling from the sky in terms of reparations that I'm giving up. Baby, send my reparations to Bogota. Send my reparations to Colombia. I'm still owed them, no matter where my feet are in the world. I'm still owed what I'm owed. Why is I don't like winter weather a valid excuse, but I don't like these soulless white people not a valid excuse? Those people actively decided that they would rather have a country where nobody gets anything than where Black and brown people get a little fraction of something. They would rather have poor health care and they themselves die from terrible health outcomes than have Black and brown people get a little bit of health care. And I say, I don't want to live like that. And that's ridiculous. But I don't want to wear a winter coat is perfectly fine. You prepare your children for school shootings, but I'm ridiculous for not wanting to live around white American people. Your kids can't have the backpack they want because they only are allowed to take see-through clear backpacks to school so somebody doesn't blow their brains out in the classroom. But I'm crazy. Ain't that suspicious? Ain't that suspicious? Who decided that we only can care about things? Who decided what things we get to prioritize in our lives? And who decided that safety was not a thing that we could prioritize? Security, peace of mind, good neighbors. Who decided that was not a thing we could prioritize? We only had to prioritize making things better for the greater good of all. Get out of my face. Leave me alone. Let me live in Bogota. Listen, on this cruise ship, anytime people on the cruise ship heard I lived in Bogota, they were like, oh, not in terms of how could you live in Bogota, but in terms of Bogota's awesome. I got to see other people's opinions of Bogota, and they were like, Bogota is awesome. We had a well-traveled group of people on the ship. One man was from, he was not from Medellin. He told me he preferred Medellin. But everybody had such a high opinion of Bogota. Meanwhile, when you tell people you're from Delaware, and sometimes if they don't know Delaware, I'd be like, near Philadelphia. They'd be like, poor you. You a Black person and you live in it, poor you. I feel so bad for you. All right. One objection. We built that country. We built that country. We have to stay there. No, we don't. No, we don't. The person who comes and who installs a swimming pool does not stay and swim in the swimming pool. No, we don't. We built it and we have to stay there. Doesn't matter to me. It doesn't make sense. That argument doesn't make sense. This is where my ancestors lived, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to be there. That's why there were revolts and rebellions and runaways and escape, right? They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to be there. I bet. Normally I don't like when people speak for the ancestors, but I feel like my ancestors would be so shocked to hear that our people were still there. I bet they would be so shocked to hear that we were still there. Them 1700s and 1600s ancestors who crossed over on the boats, I bet they would be so shocked to hear we were still there. Are you kidding? Especially not once they heard about passports. You mean to tell me there's a book that lets you be anywhere in the world, and you have that book. You got those papers. You have papers that let you be anywhere in the world, and you still here with the people who bought you? I bet they would be so shocked to see that so many of us are still there. You got papers that say you can be anywhere in the world. And you visited those places. You visited those places to be anywhere. You've been around the world. And you came back here? they would drop. No way they would expect that. No way. Okay. So the argument that we built this country, we should stay. I don't like that argument. We're going to cross that off. Also, the argument, which is part 1B of that argument, is that we need to stay and help fix it up for people who can't go. So part 2, argument number 2, is that not everybody can go. I disagree. I think everybody should go. I think everybody should go. I don't feel like this is a movement that's going to leave people behind. I also don't think that's a valid movement because I think everybody should go. I think everybody should go. So I don't, that argument, leaving people behind, come with us. Leaving behind, come with us, please and thank you. If you can't get your passport, at least go someplace where you can get to. You go to Puerto Rico. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I think everybody should go, right? Since people have had, this is my favorite, one of my favorite things to say, since people have had feet, they have moved for a better life. You too. Since humans have had feet, they have picked up their feet and they have moved somewhere else for a better life. You too. You're people. You are people, right? You're our people. All right. So leaving people behind, I don't think that's true. I think they should come too. If you can't get a US passport, then go someplace else. Go someplace you can go. Okay. I bet that's a legitimate thought. I'm laughing and smiling, but that's a legitimate thought that I have. I don't feel like we're leaving people behind because everybody, they can get it too. Everybody pick up and go instead of staying with these people. Pick up and go. Any other objection to leaving? Anybody want to, you can put it in quotation marks if you don't want me to misunderstand and think that you're saying this. If this is just an objection you would like me to discuss, but it's not your thoughts, put it in quotation marks or something. Gentrification of other places. There's the way that we've learned from white people, the colonizers' way, is not the only way. We've learned from the best, which means we've learned from the worst, right? We've learned from these white people how to go someplace and be the worst. We know it's it's in here. Even if we're not actively doing it, we know very well how to colonize a place, right? But that doesn't mean we have to do it that way. And there are ways that people can be in community with people in a new place without colonizing those people. And so we do it that way. That's a longer conversation, but briefly, I'd say learning the language where you go, make sure your money stays as long as it can inside of that community. And just like being in community with the local people. Those are ways that you go and not gentrify a place. So Rashida Dow, whose YouTube channel is Rashida on YouTube, let me link to her YouTube channel. She lives in Mexico City. And she is a thoughtful person who helped me in my move to Bogota make sure that I was moving in the best way possible. One question she asked when we went to look at apartments is this landlord Colombian? Great question. I don't know if I would have thought to ask that question. And then after I signed the lease, I'd have been like, wait, you in the United States? My landlord is an American? Stupid. No, I'm sending my money back to America. Stupid, right? Is the landlord Colombian? Olga, my landlord, is so Colombian. Olga lives 2 streets over from me and her daughters, Olga and her family. They all live, well, she lives within walking distance. The others, I don't know what part of the city they're in. She's such a thoughtful person, right? How do you make sure that your money, if you're going to another country as an American person, and you want to make sure that you're not colonizing that place, which we have the ability to do. I'm not going to act like we don't. We could if we wanted to. How do you not do it? One of the ways is we make sure our money stays in that place with those local people. Small decisions like I buy my avocados from the man on the corner instead of in the grocery store, right? Small things to make sure that some local person gets the money. Because I'm not going to Google my grocery store. I like the Carulla. I live near a Carulla grocery store in Bogota. I don't know who owns that store. I don't know. Let me find out that it's owned by some Ecuadorian corporation. I don't know. But I know if I buy my avocados from that man, there's a man who sells avocados. There's a lady on a cart who sells like snacks, but she doesn't sell the potato chips I like. She sells chips and she sells chips and candy and sodas, right? So let me buy those things from those people. Let me make sure as best I can. Let me give my money that I'm spending, which is a relatively small amount of money, right? Let me make sure my money stays in Bogota or in Colombia. Let me make sure there's some things like makeup and stuff that I still buy from American brands. Let me make sure I'm moving the needle to Colombian brands, right? Let me get myself closer and closer. I'm here in the United States for a few more little while. I don't know when I'm going back. I really am trying not to fly until the government is back up, until the TSA and air traffic controllers are back to being paid. I'm trying not to fly. So I don't know when I'm gonna leave. I frankly don't know when I'm gonna leave. But while I'm here, I do want to get that Trader Joe's syrup, maple syrup, for my birthday. I don't remember. For my birthday and my birthday party in Bogota, somebody gave me, I got maple syrup, no, vanilla extract. I'm just getting confused. I got vanilla extract from the most given gift was vanilla extract. It's a thing I love. I use it every day and I smile and I think of you warmly every time I pour my vanilla extract into my coffee or my oatmeal or my pancake mix or my whatever. And someone gave me a Trader Joe's bourbon vanilla extract. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna buy it in the United States and I'm gonna take it back to Colombia, right? So how do I make sure I'm moving the needle towards spending my money in Colombia? Making sure that my pendulum is not swung so far to US brands and stuff. Swing it back a lot. That is a way. Okay. How does air traffic controllers affect your travel? They keep you alive. Air traffic controllers keep you alive in the air. And some of you are flying actively in the next few days. I'll say that's a decision that I've made. Thank you. Okay, I saw a couple questions and I didn't star them. So now I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can find the questions. I did see someone ask about the cartels and someone say I'm too old to move to another country. The cartels, in the United States, anyone's fight can come to your doorstep. Gang violence impacts everyone. In these other places, violence is more contained. Not that no one has ever been a victim of gang violence who wasn't part of a gang, but it is more contained, right? So in Colombia, the cartel shot down a military or a military helicopter in Colombia not too long ago, right? I still feel safer living my life in Colombia than I feel in the United States because I don't have the cartels ain't got no beef with me. I don't have any activity that is going to impact them. Violence is more contained in other places than it is in the United States. Anybody's fight can take you out in the United States, right? Whether it's drug or gang activity or, a white kid whose mom doesn't love him and they gave him a gun, right? Anybody's violence can hit you. But outside of the United States, there's a kind of a bubble of activity that it's pretty easy for me to stay away from. CM, another objection. It's too late. I'm too old to move to another country. Aging in the United States is financially, economically, or can be economically ruinous and financially hard, and healthcare wise, it can just be really shitty. Being an old person dealing with the US's healthcare system can be really shitty. Whereas there are countries around the world that have universal healthcare and actually like old people and have more access and where it's more accessible to have the support that you would probably want as an old person, as an aging person, as a person who doesn't want to get down on her knees and scrub the kitchen floor. It's much easier in other parts of the world to pay somebody to come and do that kind of thing, or change your diapers, or your grandma's diaper. You and grandma live in this, whatever, right? It is actually better. I'm trying to think of a better word than better. I think from the women we've seen in our community, it's better to be an older person in these other places. It's better to be older in Latin America than in the United States. You're going to have better access to healthcare and probably better healthcare because they're not going to look at you. The United States healthcare system is so racist, right? Maybe in these other places, they're not going to look at you and just make assumptions about you that are going to kill you or shorten your life. And also, you can pay someone. You probably can afford to pay somebody to do things for you that might hasten your death in the United States. Cleaning the shower in the United States is a pretty dangerous thing for old people. It's pretty dangerous, right? Slip and falls happen. Well, you can pay a young person to come and do those things for you. I think it's too late. Presupposes that the United States is doing these things right when it's absolutely not. I think it's too late. Also presupposes that you're going to go to another place and be alone. I think I would assume a lot of the people who are like, I'm too old to do that. They think that because they think they're going to another country where they're going to be all alone. They're not going to know anybody. No. Get in community with people. In these other countries, people actually have time to be together, have time to be in community with each other. If you think it's too late, please, this is a sincere, I'm so serious, okay? If you think it's too late for you to move abroad, please join us in the Exodus Summit community and see what other women in your age category are doing and see what their lives look like. But also see how they've navigated this at their ages. If you're in your 70s or 80s, there are women at your age group, at your age, who are actively planning their move or have just done it. There are women in our community who've moved, there are quite a few women in our community who've moved in their 70s. I understand that objection, but it presupposes some things that are just not true. It presupposes that you're going to get better care in the United States. And it presupposes that there are better supports and systems for you in the United States, and there are not. So join us in the Exodus Summit community, exodussummit.com/community. Like I said, we left Facebook, so it's now a $1 community. But join us there and meet other women in your age category and find out what they're doing. Okay? All right, did we overcome enough objections today? Panama, listen, the seniors, they love them some Panama. They also enjoy Ecuador. Deborah Valerie is here. Her community is called Black Women Expats Over 60. And make sure that you're talking to and in community with people who have your particular objection, whether it's I'm too old, or my kids, I need to wait until my kids graduate, or whatever. Come to the Exodus Summit community and get in community with women who are in that category and see the ways that they're navigating this. Your kids going to school with clear backpacks and doing drills on doing active shooter drills. I saw something the other day. A woman I follow, Queen's Work, I think, on Instagram. Her kid's school had something. Excuse me. I'm telling you, this bridge thing is about to fall out. Her kid's school had something. I don't know if it was an actual event or a drill, but the next day, her kids were petrified of going back to school, and she didn't want to send them. And everybody's crying. I can't imagine that life. And waiting until your kids graduate from school is subjecting them to a trauma that I don't have children yet. And I'm not the boss of you and your family, but they don't have to live like that. Y'all don't have to live like that. Thank you, friends, for the super chats. Thank you, Love Supreme. I hope you're still here. At 53, I left my corporate job for my physical and mental health. Take the first step. You will find the money. The universe got you. Thank you very much, Love Supreme. Thank you for that super chat. And thank you for that comment. And I hope that I'm assuming based on your comment that things are working out. Okay. I hope that continues to be the case. For anyone who wants info on how to make their Move Abroad money, Exodus Summit 2025 replays are available at exodussummit.com. Watch each session, find 1 or 2 or 3 ways to make your Move Abroad money. exodussummit.com. Okay. Thank you very much for that super chat. Annabella, thank you very much for your super sticker. And thank you for that super chat. My uncle worked 40 years. After knee replacement 2 weeks ago, they kicked him out of rehab because his insurance won't pay. There's a lot of presupposing in the I'm too old comment. Go to a place that has healthcare for everybody. There are countries that have healthcare. If you're a resident of that country, there are countries that give you healthcare, right? And if you don't want they at least give you a public safety net, a public healthcare level. You might want better care than that. You pay for private care. I have private insurance in Colombia. I have private insurance. My insurance cost me $1,800 for the full year, and it's a relatively bougie package, which includes house visits, in-home testing. If I need tests done, they do it in my house, right? And my $1,800 per year insurance includes travel insurance as well. There are places where you can age better than you can age in the United States. If you're not super wealthy in the United States, you're probably concerned about healthcare expenses as you age. If you're not super wealthy, or you didn't have some sort of amazing insurance, you probably are concerned on some level about your healthcare expenses in the United States and the level of care that you're going to get if you're Black. And you don't have to carry those worries. Go to another place. Okay. All right. Okay. I got to go because Rashida and I are headed to the Exodus Summit meetup in Fort Lauderdale. There's an Exodus Summit Fort Lauderdale meetup happening in less than 40 minutes. So we got to get to it. And I'm super excited. If you're in the Exodus Summit community, there are meetups happening all fall and winter long. And if you don't see one for your area, your city, where you are, go ahead and plan one. Go ahead and organize one. Join the Exodus Summit community at exodussummit.com/community. Enter exodussummit.com/community. It does cost $1 to join, but it's not a repeating dollar. You pay us one time. Okay. And this is to make sure that you have, it's to cover the expenses of the platform. Okay. Join us. And then come to a meetup. Meeting the other women in the Exodus Summit community is a game changer in terms of how realistic, possible your own move abroad becomes. Just like with anything else, just like going to college or whatever else, when you know someone else who's done it, it becomes more possible for you. When you're in community with people where everybody does it, you're on the path. Okay, so join us in the Exodus Summit community. If you're a Black woman, join us. exodussummit.com/community. Okay, and then if money is the reason that you think right now you can't move abroad, watch the replays of Exodus Summit 2025. exodussummit.com. Watch the replays of Exodus Summit 2025. You can get a ticket for $129 that gives you the replays for 2 weeks, or for $399, you can watch the replays through September of 2026. Okay, that is session after session on how to start making money doing a particular thing, whether it's teaching abroad or being a virtual assistant or a tax preparer or a consultant or a high ticket coach, having some sort of high ticket coaching program or having a membership. The other day I did such a good job of remembering the sessions. Okay. Exodus Summit 2025. Those are sessions for those of you who are like, how am I going to afford it? I want to leave, but how do I afford it? How do I make the money? Okay. And on Instagram, Rashida and I will probably share a few pictures of the meetup. Let me share my Instagram with you. We'll probably share a few pictures of our meetup. I appreciate the organizer of the meetup, who is, this is how uninvolved I am. I don't even know for sure who made the meetup. Events, upcoming events. Oh, Saturday, November 8th, Metro Atlanta meetup today, Fort Lauderdale meetup today, hosted by Tressa. Thank you very much, Tressa. Sunday, Phoenix meetup. 14th, New York City gathering, holiday gathering. I think it's in person. Yeah, that's in person. Sometimes New York City does some online things too as well. Chattanooga is next Saturday, November 15th. And, you can plan your own meetup. In the Exodus Summit community, you can plan your own meetup. I appreciate you guys for all of the amazing compliments. This is my Instagram. I'm Vicarious on Instagram. I appreciate y'all for all of the compliments. I'm feeling really good. I got probably 10 hours of sleep last night. And I feel really good. And I'm glad to be here in Fort Lauderdale for a while so I can meet some of the Exodus Summit women here. I don't think I've been to a Florida meetup. I don't think so. I know there have been quite a few, but I don't think I've been to a Florida meetup. So I'm excited to meet the Exodus Summit squad here in this area. And yeah, so thanks for the compliments. Yeah, I feel great. I feel great. Okay, if you have questions about places or reasons to move abroad, places to go, reasons to go, how to go, you should be in the Exodus Summit community. Okay, join us at exodussummit.com/community. Okay, thanks, friends, for all the compliments. I'll see you guys again. I'm giving you time to say bye. Thank you for the compliments. I appreciate it. I got to go ahead and get my Uber. I don't have my pants on. I just have sweatpants on now. So there's no outfit to show you, Tori. I just have my sweatpants on. I'm getting ready to put my little, my meetup pants. Put my meetup pants on. I'm just wearing this sweater from Banana Republic. Let's see. I've had it for a while. I have this sweater in white and black. Little fringe. Little fringe. And I'm driving. I forgot this. I'm driving through Savannah, Georgia. I think I'm going to be in Savannah for 2 days, like a day and a half. Anybody in Savannah? If you're in Savannah and you're in the Exodus Summit community and you want to have a meal, let me know. Go to the community and make a post. I'll be in Savannah probably all day Monday. Monday is probably the only Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday. I'll be there all day Tuesday. So if you want to have a meal and you're in Savannah, holler at me in the community. Okay. All right. Thanks very much, friends. Hit the like button before you go. Share this video with a Black woman who you think might be interested in her own great migration. And I appreciate you so much for being here in the chat, being so wonderful to each other and so wonderful to me. Remember to give yourself that same grace. Okay. Remember the kindness and generosity with which you treat me and the women in this community. Also make sure that you're treating yourself with that same kindness, that same generosity, that same grace. Thanks very much, friends. See you guys again. Bye.